Podcast. So welcome to the eMpTy podcast. It's myself, Buddy, in the building, aka The Truth. And in the building we also have
man like Citrus. Yaga yo 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 yo. It's a Citrus in the house. What? Why is the camera not facing me? What?
We don't like you.
You know when Wiley just come and just start reorganizing the whole thing? It's alright. It's the Citrus in the house and they're hating the show. But it's fine. It's fine. We're good. We're good.
And next to Citrus we have
Mr. Wileycat DJ.
I like the way you just jumped in before I even get the words out of my mouth.
That's
okay,
right.
there we go. And across from Wiley we have
man like Tongo, you don't know.
Right, is that now going to be your thing? So you know where man
like Tongo, you don't know, has been my thing from one day. You just ain't clocked.
Yeah, well, obviously because it hasn't been that great. But anyway,
yeah, like the truth.
People know it though.
That's the truth.
People know it though, right? But anyway, one of the questions that's been already asked before we even hit the lives was, what is today's podcast? Today's podcast is about, is it okay to say no? And that is a real big question. And as simple as it seems, it is a big question to ask everybody in this room first off, before we even hit the meatier part of the conversation. But is it okay to say no? I'll start with Citrus across to me.
No. See the way I did that? Nice, simple things. This has been the eMpTy podcast, man. Like Citrus. No, it's not. No, of course it's okay to say no. Like I've got a list of all the things I'm gonna say no to, but I'm gonna stretch it out. I'm gonna stretch it out throughout the whole podcast. But yeah, of course it's okay to say no, because someone might ask you a question or ask you to do something which is against you. So no, I ain't doing it.
And it's just okay to just say no.
Yeah.
I'm okay. No.
It's fine to say no. And sometimes you don't even need to justify the no. The no is just no. N-O.
Simple as.
Or even K-N-O-W. Depends on where we are. Do you get what I mean?
We're full of it today, aren't we? But let's move swiftly on to Mr. Wiley Boom.
I would say it depends on the circumstance. I'm going to do the political answer. It depends on the circumstance and it depends on the person. I think generally it's okay to say no, but you're going to find circumstances where it's not okay to say no, where you may be dealing with someone in your family, you may be dealing with your partner, and as much as you want to say no, you can't say no. But I'm sure we will get to that in a bit still.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Wiley Boom. Mr. Tongo in the phone, you don't know, doesn't know when to say no on his phone.
I'm sharing the thing still. Gotta make it, keep it broadcasted. You get me?
That's why we have the 5 minutes before we start to then share the
Very
But you know, we'll leave you alone.
When you got as much friends as me, you understand.
Perfect. So we should have loads of followers by the end of tonight.
You're overstand. But yeah, I don't think it's okay to say no all the time. Sometimes you just have to do what you don't want to do.
See, I know the thing is, that response there, I can see the frowns turning upside down and all the rest of it over there across from me, from Citrus, saying, yo, is he stupid? Does he actually know what he just said?
You read all of that from a facial expression.
Brother, I know my brother, so I can work it all out. Tell me if I'm wrong, Citrus.
Someone's got to be devil's advocate, no?
Nah, no one's asking for that, but I'm saying...
I'm just saying no, what you said's nuts.
It's nuts. Because if you start saying yes to everything, you find yourself backed up into such a big corner. So no does have to be said. You know what I mean?
I did specifically say sometimes.
Okay. But yeah, you say you have to do things that you don't necessarily want to do. That is what you said, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes you have to do that.
All right, so the whole... So for you...
So she walks in with a strap on.
Listen.
Sometimes you have to just do things, you know. Okay, babe.
One second. That will come later on. All right?
What, the strap on order? Yeah. No.
See where we're going with this?
No.
You notice how Buddy's got experience? Because I've never heard of a strap on coming. Have you?
Because I don't know when you said it, so I don't know where you're going with this.
You was the one that said it.
Yeah. But go on anyway.
You said it'll come later on, did you not?
I said the conversation will come.
It's
later
recorded.
On. It will come
As you like
later
to
on.
quote, it's recorded.
So I love to see where your mind's going already with this topic. It's a very simple one, and all of a sudden we've already gone enough sexual. So as Citrus touched on it just now, all right, quite literally, and said, "Oh yeah, sexually." So you're there with your partner. All right, we'll start with this. So your partner now says to you, you know what? There's something that I like to do. I like to do whatever your taboo is, because everyone in the room will probably have a taboo, and everybody on the onlines will probably have a taboo. It ain't happening. I don't care what they say. It's not happening. I don't care. Your partner turns and says, whatever your taboo is, all right, says, you know what? This is my thing. It's the one thing that gets me off. It's the one thing that makes me happy. You need to do that for me. I would like you to do that for me. Like, and you're now going to sit there and say to them, no, I ain't doing it because I'm not on it. Or are you going to sit there and turn and find a way of sorting this out? I'll start as I mean to go on. I'll keep going around in the little circle. So we'll start off with...
You got to make this question much more specific.
Much more specific.
I was thinking the same thing.
You see where I was trying to avoid it? You know what? I'll do this and I'll make it a bit more interesting. What's your taboo? What is Citrus not doing?
I don't know.
In a bedroom, we're talking here.
A goat. I don't know.
This is going to turn into...
Mad. You must be mad.
This is going to turn into one guy. I don't know why I even went here with Citrus.
You're asking him this weird... bruv, I don't know. You need to contextualize the whole thing before
I've
just go down. You haven't, bruv. We've been here for 8 minutes and you're asking me about...
Go on.
What's my taboo in the bedroom? It's quite forward, isn't it? It's quite forward.
As forward as you want it to be, bro.
No, thank you.
All right, but I'm saying to you, what is it? What is one of? It might have many.
I said a goat.
A goat. Yeah. So we're gonna go with the goat. All right. So having a goat in the bedroom. Yeah, that's your taboo. Yeah.
Yeah.
And your girl turns and says to you, you know what? It's the one thing that I can turn and say to myself. That's my thing. I like to let animals watch me in the bedroom or whatever the goat is doing that you don't want them to do. All right. And that's the one thing she doesn't. She likes.
Right.
And she's now asking you, Citrus, can we bring the goat in the room?
No.
Please, it's the one.
I already said there's certain times there's a no, and you don't even need to justify the no. It's just no.
It's just no. So
No.
there's no compromising.
No, there's the Tongo no, which is a maybe yes. My no is a definite no. I'm not able to discuss it.
So you're just going with it's just not happening.
Yeah.
So she turns and says to herself, well, you know what?
It's a no from me.
Okay.
And if you want to go, then go along and go and get your goat.
So that's
Go to the farm.
if that's her thing, then you're saying, I'm not interested.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll move swiftly on. Wiley Boom.
A man introducing a man into this.
What about a female goat? That's okay.
You asked for one of.
Yeah, that's fine. That's perfect.
A man.
So she said that she wants to have a threesome.
No, not interested.
And we're not going there.
Not interested because it doesn't. No, not interested.
So if she turns and even she comes with the compromise now and says, you know what, we can do a threesome, 2 girls and yourself.
No.
To compromise that she wants the man, you and her. That's what she wants.
No. I'm talking about a man being involved in the situation apart from myself. So if you're saying there's no man there, it's not a compromise on what she wants, is it?
She just turned and said she'll bring a girl instead.
Yeah, again, it's not a compromise on what she wants, though, is it? If my thing is that I don't want a man brought in, and her thing is she wants a man brought in. If she's saying she's gonna bring a woman instead of a man, it's not a compromise. She's now no longer.
But she's trying to find. Like she might
trying to find a way of trying to introduce a man into it by saying, okay.
Right. So she might turn and say to her, what's your biggest fantasy? And you might turn and say a female, or you might turn and say something else.
So then it becomes okay. I'll do this if you allow that to happen. It will still be a no.
It's still a no. There's no compromise on that.
No compromise on that whatsoever. No.
So you've been in your relationship for your personal relationship. Right? I'm saying, say for example, you've been in a relationship for 15 years, 20 years. All right, and she said this to you from way ages ago, and now sitting there and thinking to herself, you know what, I want this to happen. And she's held out. She said to us, she's had the girl talk, and she sat there and said, you know what, I really want this to happen. I'm just gonna have to find a way to make this happen. And she comes and talks to you and says, it's pivotal now. My relationship or this. And you're sitting there saying, under no circumstances.
I'm sitting there saying a no is a no, because you have to remember, if you're saying like about 15, 20 years, you would know my no is definitive and my no is not going to change. So if you, at that point, haven't respected my own choice in it, so
are you not worried that she then turns and says to herself, let me go along elsewhere then.
If that's what's going to be the turning point, or if that's going to be the thing that would make the relationship end, then the relationship ends, because there's certain things you're not gonna allow yourself.
I never said she let the relationship end. She just said she's gonna go along elsewhere. So she says
No, but for me,
so citrus and let's go. Yeah. What are you saying, bro? Like we can balance
cool.
the thing out. You know what I mean? And she's now cheating on you with my man over here.
Now makes the matter become, like I said, if that's what's going to make the relationship end, it makes the relationship end. Who says she's ending the relationship? If that's what's going to make the relationship end, that's what's going to make the relationship end.
So
Amen. I'm with you.
Okay.
You can't.
Well, so you're just not on it. My morals are my morals.
No, not even about morals or whatever. It's that's not your preference. It's not your choice. It's not your thing. You're not going to do it.
Okay. Tongo danger.
all that, I don't know what it's called. What do they do in Dubai? That feces business and golden shower business.
Water sports.
All of that.
And mud
No,
sports
bro,
or
it's
whatever.
not involved. I don't know what it's called. But they called it
Whatever it's called.
Water sports.
Whatever it's called, it's a no.
Yeah.
but then they call it
Whatever
Dubai.
it's called.
It's water sports, bro. I've said it so many times, and it's like you're not even listening to me.
Don't matter. But whatever it's
That anyway.
You're not on it.
Are you mad, bruv?
But
Are you bonkers, bruv?
but it's
But there's no buts.
your wife.
There's no buts. There's no buts, bruv.
There's no buts.
No buts.
But
No buts, bruv.
nah, listen. You're saying no
I'm
buts.
not listening to nothing.
And I'll run it by me then.
And what's your one, bro?
No. I'm not even gonna go into my taboo because you're like.
Nah, what's your taboo, bruv? Don't try and get out of the question.
To be fair,
Don't try and get out of the question. What's your taboo, bruv?
Take a sip, drink. Take a
Sit
sip.
drinking it.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on.
No, what's my taboo? I actually didn't even think of my own taboo. I know, I have got one. Ain't nobody putting nothing up my bum hole. It's just not happening. All right, that's just a no. It's completely out.
Is that a no or not again?
You're right, yeah. Never has happened.
It's just a question.
It never has
You're not trying to
happened.
make this
All right.
podcast juicy today, innit?
It never has happened and never will happen. The end to that. But that's taboo, all right, for me. All right. But as I was saying, I'll give you a little bit of a thing. So I said to myself, I wouldn't do certain things with my partner. All right. There's certain things that when we were younger, we'd probably say to ourselves, you know what, I wouldn't do. I'm not interested. And the moment I suppose she turned and said to herself she was interested in those same things again when we was younger, I turned and said to myself, I'm not on it. Still said I wasn't on it. All right. But then I also thought to myself about another thing. I said to myself, when you're in a relationship, you're supposed to please each other. Because you've also got to turn and put this on the flip side. So put it on to the side of, you lot are saying you're not doing this, you're not doing this, you're not doing that. So say she turns and says, for example, great one to give, she doesn't give head. And she goes, I just don't give head. In this relationship, I'm not on it. Are you now going to turn and say, well, I'm now out of the relationship?
We never would have got to that part of the relationship.
Don't try it, bro.
No. What'll happen is she'll say she'll do it in a year's time, and I'll wait a year for it.
Jeez. Wait.
This podcast all makes sense.
Wait. Wiley is out here dropping unnecessary. What's wrong with you?
If you listen to a previous podcast, it will all make a lot of sense.
But not everyone's doing that right now. So go on.
Mad.
To the no.
All this time.
Yes, I did.
really like that tune.
Yes, I did. Thank you.
But go on. So
I'm gonna wheel it back. No, you can pause now. All right, we're good.
So you're telling me just for say, let's just say this is hypothetically, all right, this has happened now. So are you telling and saying to me, you're just saying, what are you saying next?
Are you telling me it was an arranged marriage?
Brother.
So it's today the first day I've met her, and it was an arranged marriage, and now this is the day.
It's a discovery.
And now today,
We're
discovering.
Let's paint out the picture. You've had an amazing date. This is the first time you've met her. Amazing date. You then went out on a couple more.
Wait. How you just meet an amazing date?
I beg you just.
Go on.
Thank you. All right, so you've had an amazing date. You've gone out a few times now, and everything's been great. And then eventually you started doing little bits and pieces. Then you started sleeping together. Then you've turned and said to yourself, you know what, I like this person. This person's amazing. We get on.
So the first time we slept together, I never got head.
No, the first time you slept together, you never got head. So we're just gonna continue now.
Let me find my thing again.
Wow. So first night,
because Buddy is out here.
So first night you sleep with a girl, you're getting head. We're just going on the full wham bang, thank you ma'am. We're getting everything out here, yeah?
Listen, I will let you know for sure that I would know for sure what was going on in the bedroom for sure before we entered the bedroom.
So you know all the rules and regulations for sure.
I would know.
You would know.
I would know. I've got enough faith in my skill set and my talent.
Okay, super supreme.
I can appreciate it. I can appreciate some of us don't have the same level of faith.
So no, I'm saying to you.
No, not you. Not you. This isn't you.
You know what?
It feels. Do you know what? Your shoulders are high. Bring them down.
No.
I'm just saying. Not all of them. Not all of this is about you. I'm just saying. For me, through my questioning techniques and through my investigative
journalism.
Thank you, Mr. Bum. That's the word. Through that, I would have found out. I would have asked the relevant questions to lead me down the path that would have entered the room of oral sex.
And you would have got that straight away.
I'm not saying I would have got it straight, but what I would say is I would know if it wasn't on the table.
You would know if it. So you just automatically know.
I would know if it wasn't
automatically. He said he would lead her down the path to find out the information.
No, he said, but you know when Buddy just wants to get to one answer only. It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine. It's fine, Super G. All right.
Thank you.
You can do your thing, innit? So you would know it wouldn't happen. You're cutting the snake off from the top of the head and say, yeah, boom, we're done. Yeah.
You're not listening.
No, I'm saying that from what you're saying.
You
I
said
would
at
know.
the super date, it feels such a super date. I would have asked the relevant questions with my investigative journalism.
Investigative.
To understand exactly where we were.
Okay.
And the evening we consummate, you like that, Mr. Bum? That evening, there'll be no hold bars. Do you know what I mean?
So what about if they... All right, let's take off head.
Walking into the room like it's a wrestling match. Do you know what I mean? There's a spotlight come from across the room. I just stand there in my speedos and oil down.
Sorry, the head god over here. All right, because he knows all of this. That's fine. We'll take off head. We'll use something else that you like. Something that's personal to Citrus. You don't have to sit there and say it on the podcast. All right, but something that's personal to yourself.
It feels like you're trying to push me into a corner.
No.
That doesn't make sense.
No, let me land.
I'll say it then.
Something that's personal to Citrus. Again, not.
All right, go on.
Because it's obviously personal.
Fine.
All right, but that whatever it is, you're now going to turn to your girl and saying, "This is what I like to be done.
Right.
This is my thing." All right, and she turns and says to you, "No, I'm not on it. That's to something I don't do. Period."
Banging on the period.
No, bro, I don't know what your thing is, bro. Jesus.
Bro, you just said period. I was like,
I don't do that, period, innit?
I don't know.
This guy.
As I said to you before, in my questioning, leading up to this
You
point,
found out about your thing.
I would find out because I know what I like.
So you're already finding out about.
I'm asking all the questions from the jump.
Okay, we'll move on.
And then there are areas that you touch on, and you're like, okay, this is something I'm going to further investigate. So I'll revisit this in another conversation.
It's about the flirtation. And
yeah, I'm not going to be sitting there with a questionnaire. Look, babe, do you know what I mean? I've got a survey monkey. Literally, I'm just going to wait. Yeah, put your email address in. Do you know, it's anonymous. Do you know what I mean? Answer these 182 questions. No, come on, bro.
Fair enough. Wiley Boom.
Similar thing, to be honest with you. You're not gonna. I don't believe anyone's gonna walk into a. I don't want to say relationship, but in a physical situation with somebody and not have an idea on what they're wanting to do or not wanting to do sexually. And if I put it broader than sexually and say things like if you have an interest in anything else, or it may be like you have an interest in a sport or whatever, they don't have an interest in it, you will know. These sorts of things you would know before it gets to the crunch time of you want to do something. So you would know that.
Sorry, bear with us.
I don't even disagree with you.
Because you're gonna find that out. You're gonna do your I don't want to say your research, but you're gonna do your conversations, and in the conversations, all of this is gonna be coming up, and you're gonna be having conversations where you are gonna talk about certain things. You ain't gonna be. This is the thing. You ain't got to be so blunt and
crass.
and whatever.
Due diligence.
That's due diligence. That's it. What you're gonna do is have a conversation. You may touch on certain things, and it's like with you. You will always touch on certain matters and see how far someone will take something. If someone's accepting of something, they will have a conversation with you. If it's no, that's not for me. I don't do this, or I don't do that, or I don't like this, or I don't like that. Cool. You're not gonna go down the road of it and try and force the issue because you're trying to have something with that person. So whether it's a relationship, whether it's something sexual, if your goal is to have a relationship, if your goal is to be sexual with them, if your goal is to just be a friendship with them, whatever your end goal is, you're not gonna jeopardize that by trying to just be so direct, crass, and throw the whole thing working.
So you see, the thing is, right, there's so many different ways to go on this podcast, and I'm coming to you in a second, T. All right, but when you're saying that, in a relationship, a lot of relationship is about compromise. It's not as simple as just sitting there saying no. So Citrus said, I would have discovered this already. All right, like you just said, I discovered this already. No. I would know.
No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying you will discover it all already. And someone's made a comment that I think is fairly true. Someone says that they may not be fully comfortable to reveal their all, but in having the start of the conversation, what you're going to find out is what they're comfortable with. They ain't got to reveal all their whole stuff, and you ain't got to
because you don't necessarily want to. You don't want to reveal everything anyway, do you? You're
trying to have a comfortable conversation where you know, okay, they're comfortable with this. Further down the line, this may be the case, or even something may happen further down the line, and you say, you know what, you know that they're comfortable with it. But if it's not a comfortable thing, you're not going to try and pursue that direction.
So like I was asking Citrus earlier on, if it's something that they're going to turn and say to you, well, I'm not comfortable with it. It's not something that I'm. Are you now sitting there? Because remember earlier on, you sort of said, she said to you, I want an extra man in the relationship, and you're sitting there saying that ain't going to happen, and if that's going to happen, go along. All right. And now she turns and says this, you've turned and told her what you like, and she's turned and said, well, it's not really my thing, darling. All right.
Well, then it all comes down to, are you willing to not do what is your thing? Because so it's your balance, isn't it? Are you willing to say, for the balance, for example, if I've met the love of my life and it's all great and whatever, am I willing to say that I'm willing to forego that relationship because I'm not getting something I like? Or am I willing to say, you know, I'd rather get something I like, but I'll force it? And
so are you okay with her saying no?
I'm okay with people saying no. Like I said, it all determines. For me, I have no issue with people saying no to me. And this is in any circumstance, because I don't take personal. I don't make things personal and things like that. But like I said earlier, depending upon the situation, I may say no. So I know they may say no. It's not a problem for me if they say no.
We'll come back to you on certain other aspects, as you said you're like this in all aspects, but we'll come back to you. So Citrus has turned and said, I would find out from before the jump. So no matter what it is sexually, for example, this is the way we're covering right now. No matter what I said sexually, I'd have found out already. So this ain't gonna be a thing for me because I'm Citrus. Wiley turned and said, give me a quick breakdown of yours.
Quick breakdown of mine is that I would be trying to see what they're comfortable with, and if they're not comfortable with it, I'm not going to be pursuing it.
So if they're not comfortable with what if
they're not comfortable, if it's not a comfortable thing, I'm not going to try and pursue it and force it through.
Are you not going to force through the action, not the relationship? We're not talking about
No.
So the relationship is still sturdy. It's cool. Yeah. But you're just going to turn and say, you know what? I'll take a knee. Yeah. I'm okay with the no.
Yep.
Okay, fair enough. Tongo, you're done though.
Good. I'm glad to get in it.
Yeah, I'm trying to help you, bro. You know, I'm really trying to help you.
Go on.
Is the question still specifically about head, or is it just generic?
No, bro, it's about whatever your thing is. Like I said to Citrus earlier on, I said whatever your thing is. I used head to try and give a bit more life to it, because some people might be sitting there thinking, what's my thing? But I said, all right, I used that because that was taboo back when we was probably 15, 16, whatever our ages were. All right, probably you when you was 20. All right, but yeah. So I'm saying, whatever your thing might be, all right. Just so you don't have to be obviously public with it because it's a public forum, all right? But whatever your thing is, she turns and says to you, no, I ain't doing that. It's not for me. I can't. I don't want it.
To be honest, I've been there, done that. That road's over. If I discover, or through the path that we lead, the due diligence, I discover that person's not on something that I'm bang on doing. Like I didn't analogy there. If it's not another that I'm bang on doing, I'm sure I can find someone else that will be bang on doing it. If I really want to. So
you're a dick.
So what I mean is, in the sense of, I could probably get to know someone else that would be willing to do that. But at the same time, depending on how much I like the person, I'd happily compromise and just not and do without it.
Give one answer, please. Please, one answer. I'm trying to, because I've got Mr. I'll find everything out. Mr. Okay. I will compromise and say, you know what, I'll still work on a relationship. And Mr.
Tongo, yeah, you don't know my name.
No.
You forgot. I've been in a relationship where, for example, exactly the same scenario. I've been in a relationship where the person did not give head. So I done without head for that relationship. It was just how it was. But as I said, we're not with them no more because I've gone to someone that gives head, for example. Do you understand what I'm saying?
So would that be something? So that would be. So you would be willing to say, you know what, the relationship. Would that be the end of that relationship? Would it be the cause of the end?
Would it be the cause of the end?
No.
So that wouldn't be the deal breaker. Something worse would have to happen, or something more.
So it wouldn't be a deal breaker, but it
wouldn't be a deal breaker. But
so would you? And I don't really need you or want you to turn and out yourself. But if was it a case of I'm in the relationship, well, I just gotta get head somewhere else then?
No, definitely not.
Would you be open to saying that's something that others may do because of that same situation?
I think those people that think things like those things are missing will potentially find people to cheat.
Obviously, I don't even think that's even the question.
Yeah. Some people will, depends on you as a character and what your character's like.
You know what I mean? You get them bandit that do the whole fetish thing where they get the super big thing come and sit on their face while they got handcuffs on. You know what I mean? Suffocation.
And wear that mask thing and
pull around
all
like
of
a
that.
dog
And all
yeah,
these things
and get their balls kicked with heels on. Madness.
And they pay the woman to do it too.
Yeah, no.
Mad.
See, the thing is like.
So the question is then, hold on. So the question is, if a person does that, where they go and pay a woman for her services to fulfill their fetish, is that cheating? Is that actually cheating?
It's a discussion again, and I'll tell you why. If it's a discussion that you've had within your relationship to send and say you're okay with it, then it's not cheating because I've already said I've okayed it, so it wouldn't be cheating. If it's something that I've sat there and said no, I'm totally against, then of course it's cheating at that point because I've told you don't do it and you've gone out there and you've done it, so it's cheating. That's the cheat.
The non-agreement of it.
Yeah.
The non-agreement of it. That would make sense.
If you have a threesome with your woman, am I cheating when I'm slamming the other woman? No, I'm not. Because we
what
just
does slamming mean?
sleeping with, slamming, banging, whatever
having
terminology.
sex with the other woman.
Fornicating, whatever way you want to put it.
Fornicating.
You know what I mean? Whatever way you want to put it. Whenever you're doing whatever you're doing with the other person, it's allowed because of the fact that you've already got consent from your partner, so it's not cheating. You know what I mean? That's what it's about. Cheating is when you don't get consent. If I asked, like I said on a few podcasts ago, I asked if I could cheat. I asked because I was going to say to them, if I can go out there and do it, it wouldn't be cheating, so I'd be free. It was a question that I asked, but yeah,
enough.
So it would be cheating if you're not.
So, do you think you'd be able to convince the lady to change her mind?
See, no, that's a very interesting question. It was actually where I was going next with it to say,
or vice versa.
If you do now manage to convince the person, is that now a very dangerous word that I'm going to probably use right now? So I do apologise, but would it then come under rape, in the sense of you're now forcing me to do something that I?
Why are you talking
just
about?
saying rape?
That's a dangerous word. Listen to what I'm saying before you start reacting, because that's your thing, innit? React. I'm saying to you, so you've now forced me to turn and do something that I'm now not comfortable with, but I'm now doing it because I'm saying to myself, well, look, you know what? I'm going to do this because this will make you happy. All right?
Speaking someone to do something is not forcing them.
Speeching somebody to do something against their will.
If you speech them, which means you convince them, it's not against their will anymore.
But there's a very big borderline, which is why I mentioned the word rape. There's a very big borderline.
I'm not even comfortable with the word rape.
That's why I said to you, it's a very...
Can you use the word coerce, please?
I would more say if
Coerce.
you manipulated somebody to do something that they didn't want to do, rather than... Because rape, one, it has a lot of connotations to it, and two, it is not even there's no agreement there. There's no, I've made them do something they wanted to do and they're now doing it. No, you're doing something to them. You're not actually making them do anything. You're doing something to them. It's totally different.
You're convincing if you convince me to do something that I don't want to, I know that I don't want to do certain things.
Yeah, it's
all right. So I've sat there and said to myself, I'm not doing it. I don't want to do it. I'm fully against it. All right. For whatever reason, you've now, like you want to use the word coerced me into turning and saying, oh, you know what? Just do it. Just do it. For whatever reasons it might be, whether it be monetary, whether it be sexual favors, whether it be just to impress you, whether it be to gain your hand in marriage, or whatever the circumstance or situation may be, because I've not been put in that position to know what the pressures would be to be put on me to do those type of things. It's like you convinced this person, they've turned and said, you know what? Okay. Reluctantly, okay. Because this is what I'm going to do to keep my man or whatever. You know what I mean? So this is what I'm going to do. And they then do it. Is that now not a form of that? You don't feel to yourself, that's a form of the word that now I feel like it's not supposed to be said.
In all honesty, I don't think there's any way that I could agree that that's a form of that. Because like I said, that particular term is talking about taking from somebody. You're not, she is not, or he, if it's a woman with a man, is not willingly given. It's being taken. If you're talking, it's not even.
But it's something you got to realize to yourself, right? That when some people feel not necessarily threatened. Some people might feel threatened by it, and I'm using the word threatened because I'm thinking I'm threatened with the fact that I might lose you. I'm not going to have you anymore. So now that I feel threatened that I'm not going to have you, I feel like to myself, well, maybe I need to do this.
Yeah, I don't know.
Let me interject with the comments, because some of the comments address this quite well. So, Soul Walker 75 said he's right, but maybe not rape, but sexual assault.
Okay, I agree.
Honda Road UK said forcing is a hard word. You can negotiate to try. However, force or manipulation is not consensual. And Soul Walker again says all that person needs to say is that they were not comfortable but felt pressured.
And then what would it come under?
They said emotional blackmail.
Someone said emotional blackmail.
That's what he said. That's what
someone said. Sexual assault. Yeah. Someone said not consensual. Some have put manipulation.
Like I said, rape probably being a very harsh form of it, but it's still a form of it. Emotional blackmail, like uncomfortable, I felt under pressure. Those things are all still kind of things that you say to yourself, well, you know what? These are all I know I'm not pinning you down and taking it by force, but there are other ways that you can turn and manipulate situations. You know what I mean? It's been said that that's a form of rape. You know what I mean? And I'm saying to myself, is that now something that people would do? Is that something, would you say to yourself, you know what, when you start saying, well, I'm not gonna be with you if you ain't doing what I like.
So let me get this straight. Yeah. If you convince someone to do something sexual that you like doing, that you're in a relationship with, if you convince them, you're now on the border of sexual assault. Is that what you're telling me?
It depends on the way you've convinced them, innit? You know what I mean? And I hear your stance, because it could be a case of, no, I'm not doing that. No, I'm not doing that. Oh, babe, I'll do it then. It could be that. Right. But I'm talking about the way that it's come about, innit? Like it could have come about in any formal way, but I'm saying the way it's come about, and we're talking about the way we started this conversation was about basically saying something that you don't want to do is your thing that I'm not doing, categorically not happening. And I've turned and said I'm not doing it, and somehow or another she's convinced me. However she's decided to convince me to do it.
I've never done this before. Oh, this is the first time I've done this.
Even if you're saying it on a let's take it away from being like a sexual thing. If you're saying something on a I don't know, on an activity thing, like I totally hate going shopping. I absolutely cannot stand it, and I mean literally, with myself going shopping full, so I can't stand it. But
Sorry.
I would say no.
Can I have some more questions to that, please?
Some more questions to what?
Number one.
What is your question?
What type of shopping?
I hate going shopping where I'm going.
No. What you hate going
person?
shopping to purchase?
You know what? The funny thing, I'm probably going to stand up and give you an applause in a second,
Right.
but let's just hold
I'm
up,
talking
hold up.
about going shopping for clothes that my partner may wear. I'm talking about going shopping.
Clothes
with my
shopping.
partner. Yeah, clothes shopping.
Right.
I'm talking about going shopping where you're going grocery or whatever shopping, food shopping,
What about
anything
Christmas
like
shopping?
that. Christmas shopping, no.
You like Christmas shopping?
No, I can't stand it.
So clothes shopping, food shopping.
Christmas shopping, yeah, stuff like that. I can't stand it. I like, I'm a person. Yeah, I'm a person. I like to know if whatever I'm gonna go. I've done my research. I go out, I buy it, I come back. I don't need to go up and down and all over the place. But if your partner is with you and your partner's saying, "I want to go shopping," are you likely to say no? Now, if my partner says that to me, I'm likely to go, and because I know it's something that she would like to do, I would go with her.
So you just say yes to that, you just ride with it.
I would. Well, the thing is, it's known that I'm not a big fan of it, but
You know she's probably gonna listen back to this as well.
But the fact that I would go shopping in the first place shows that I'm supportive of it. Doesn't mean that I'm saying
you just
yes.
gotta say yes, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes
wanna say that at the
it
beginning.
is better just to say yes, because it is actually.
Why is it better?
Why is it better? Because it may be a good thing to do in terms of if it's something that your partner likes, as you were saying, taking it away from the sexual aspects of it.
Yeah.
Something that your partner likes, but you don't like, you may be willing to allow that to happen or to do that for the sake of it having a better time of doing it. You may even enjoy it, but it will actually be something that they will be happy that you're doing, going with them, as opposed to me just saying no, I ain't going, I don't like it.
It's funny because that's where I was going next, as we were. But no, it's perfect. But yeah, go as Wiley started it. Tongo.
Remember, I started the podcast saying that sometimes you've got to say yes.
So you would just do
Remember,
it.
I said that from one day, you know? It was all onto me.
So there are things there's things that your woman will ask you to do, and you will just turn and say, okay, I'm just gonna do it.
Sometimes you got to, what's it called? Lose the battle to win the war, right?
Okay. Why?
Why do you have to do that?
Why?
Because that's sometimes just what you need to do. Sometimes what you're about.
See, now I feel gone.
Like, there's going to be, as you said, relationships are full of, about compromise. There's going to be things that you're going to want her to do that she's not going to want to do. So you have to give yourself some credits. So you got to lose the battle to win the war. You get what I'm saying?
Okay, I can feel that, but
Credits. I love that. Give yourself some credits, yes.
Yeah,
Credit in the
you
back.
get me?
Yeah.
She knows I don't like shopping. She asked me to go shopping. She knows my face is going to be long. But okay, I'm going shopping.
some people.
And there's going to be a point when I'm going to want to do something now. I'm not going to necessarily throw it in her face, but you're going to coerce them to say, look, I do things for you too, I know you don't want to do this, blah, blah. You're gonna have a little conversation and get it done. You're going to get what you want done. Depends what it is. Obviously, I'm not talking about sexually, or I'm just talking about something that you want to get them to do. It could be eyeing your trousers. It could be something stupid, do you understand? But, you know what I mean?
The compromise. Citrus.
Yo,
I can see you hovering around there.
I was hovering around. I
can see
had so much to
you
say just now, but I was like, let me just let Tongo do his
hovering.
thing.
Citrus is the one who really hates going shopping.
I'm not on it. I don't like it. I'll give you the money. You go and do it.
Oh,
Serious.
So you're not doing
I
this.
actually like shopping, so I don't care.
No, I don't like it. I don't like it. I'll tell you why. Because I'm the kind of person. I'm the kind of person. When I walk into the supermarket, in my head, from the first aisle to aisle number 24, I'm going down each one once. Like down, back, down, back. Now you're doing the, remember? What was the game? Worm. You remember Worm? Used to play Worm on the Nokia.
Snakes.
Pac-Man.
Not worms.
Snake.
Snakes.
Pac-Man.
Yes.
No, she's on Pac-Man. I'm not on Pac-Man.
You're on Snake. Oh, you're saying
I'm
Snake.
on
You're
Snake. That's it.
On Pac-Man.
You're on Pac-Man following the whole thing round.
And they're running away. No.
Get trapped.
My route is Snake, and I end up being Pac-Man all over the place. That's
Not me. I'm the kind, like, if you've walked down the aisle and then you want to go back down the aisle, I'm already on the next aisle. So you've now missed
Yep.
the aisle. If you now want to go back 4 aisles, it's like lose a goal, Like,
I'm not going back there for 4 hours. You're going them. I'm done.
I'm not doing any of that.
But go on, as you was. Go on.
So what's the question, Mr. Bum?
The question was, are you the one that's going to go shopping? Do you like shopping?
Me, I'm not the shopper up. What it is, similar to yourself, is if I'm going to do a purchase over £100, I'm going to go and research it online. Yeah. I'm going to find out where's the best place to buy it from, who's got the best guarantee warranty, do you know what I mean? No quibble return policy, all that kind of stuff. I'm still old school, more likely to go and purchase it in a shop than on the internet, unless there's a time factor involved, because I want to see or feel it first. And I'm not the person that if I buy it and they send it and I don't like it, I'm just going to keep it. I ain't going post office queuing up with the people them to try and send it back. And that's not happening. And I don't know what to do with, the return label things. I don't know how that works.
Christmas gift for somebody.
Now, do you know when you buy something online and they go, oh, the return label's in the thing? I've already ripped up the package that it comes in. So how do I now send it back in the package when I've torn the package up like it's Christmas morning? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey.
So all of that, I'm not on it. And if I am going shopping, I'll say to one of the man them, yo, I'm going to go and buy the Sony X47 926. They sell it in John Lewis. I've reserved it. Let's go and check it out. And they would know this is exactly what we're going for. We go in there. We might see one or two other things to compare it to, but that's what we're aiming to buy, or we're going to leave it and bounce. There's no, let me go check for some shoes. In Dorothy Perkins, they got a 2-for-1. Do you know what I mean? Let me pick up some hairbands, some Claire's accessories. I don't understand any of this. Even with my daughter, do you know? I went shopping with my daughter.
At the cent counter though.
What was that?
You will stop at the cent counter though.
Only to buy certain scents that I've researched. Very clear. I was very, very clear. So there's certain things that I'll go for. That's it. However, so I went shopping with my daughter. My daughter hates shopping more than me. Wow. I took her into Primark because now she's 14, but her legs are too long for 14-year-old clothes. So she has to wear a size 6 or size 8 women's.
Hey.
So I took her into, I don't like shopping in it. So I took her into Primark. I put her in the middle of the leggings and jeans area of the Primark shopping. There was so much going on. She stood there with her hands in her pockets and she was looking over the rail at me. I'm standing outside the shop, screwing, looking back at her, thinking, what are you doing? She's looking at me like, I ain't gonna pick nothing up because I don't like. So, come on, let's go. And then when we was leaving, she was like, can I get a donut from Krispy Kreme's? Yeah, cool. Got back, took her to her mum's, and her mum saw her walking with a £1 $3.99. You know the box of free?
Free box.
The free box.
Yeah.
She was like, you've been shopping for an hour and a half and that's all you got? Yes, that's all we got. Next time, do your thing. Here's some money. I'm not on it. Oh, but I thought it'd be nice. No, I don't like it. We can do something else.
So my thing is, and probably a little bit with Citrus with what he just said. If the foot goes down and I say no, it's not. I'm not on those type of. You set a precedence, innit? So where you kind of say to yourself, look, you know what? Oh, I'll go shopping sometimes, maybe. I don't like it.
Yeah.
The end. If I tell you this now, we can conquer this from early. So now when you go, it's shopping time. You lot are going shopping. I ain't going. You know what I mean?
I will happily turn around and donate the lion's share, if not all, of what needs to be purchased. I don't mind. Just don't drag me. Do you know silly things like you go somewhere like Westfield and then you get someone who's not from, I'm going to say London. I'm not even going to say England. I'm going to say London. And they stand on the wrong side of the escalator. Now, I have to wait behind you. I can't go up the quick. There's no quick line. You know, like there's tube etiquette. We got the quick line and the stand to the right because I'm just gonna wait here. And the quick line just up. The people them that don't know that I'm going to London today. I'm going down to London today. Do you know? They're just standing anywhere, blocking up the thing, put the shopping down next to them. Like, no, that's not the.
Random one. Citrus, do you remember that? Oh, the long escalator.
Shouting down the escalator. Of course.
So that long queue you have, I come and say, sorry, do you mind? And I'm an elderly person. Do you mind if I just come in front of you?
No.
Is that? Can you say no to that?
Absolutely.
Wait a minute. Okay. Organised crime. All right, so you're gonna wake me up now. All right, Citrus is here. No problem.
I'm gonna put down the keyboard.
No problem. All right, now I'm gonna sit up and do my thing now.
Serious.
So there's a couple things, right? Certain things that piss me off. No is no, right? And I wrote a list of certain things that's just a no from me. And this is one of them, right? And I don't care what you say. In that same supermarket I didn't want to go to in the first place with my full trolley of £196 of shopping, and I still have to go and buy fresh veg and fresh fish. Do you know, like that? It's all mad. Do you know when you're in the queue, right, at the checkout, and all 36 checkouts are open, but the queue is still enough long, and you're like, how many people are shopping today at this time? I don't understand
That
it.
makes no sense.
But do you know what's a no though?
Can I just buy this one chocolate?
Excuse me, I've only got this one thing. Do you mind if I push in front of you? No! Wow. What do you mean? I've got this 78 things. As soon as they're done, you're next.
Nah, that's vicious, bro.
Everyone else let me through. Well, that's their business. So you've now saved yourself a good 20 minutes.
But
it stops here. No.
Wow.
I'm in a rush. I got my kid with me.
If there's a short, quick queue like this, it's just
Go to the express checkout, 5 items or less. Go to the kiosk. Because I used to work in the supermarket, so I know the tricks.
kiosks don't buy sell nothing no more.
Go to the
They
kiosk.
sell cigarettes.
Take your thing to the kiosk.
Why are you saying no?
Because I've queued up. You need to queue up.
What
Simple
if they're
things.
elderly? Like I said,
Pardon?
If they're elderly.
They must have an old people
Left
tin.
their house elderly.
They must. Bruv, they
They
must.
old en route to the supermarket. So you're elderly.
I'm calling bullshit. I'm calling bullshit.
So you're, both of you, your no is no.
They're chatting.
No. Do you know? I literally just said.
But
if there's like
both
if there's
of
a
you,
very
I'm
short
asking
queue.
you.
Wiley.
My no is no. I'm not on it.
Wiley, you know I know this is bullshit.
I don't mind.
Do you know
If I'm in a long waiting
1 second. It's talking, bruv.
If I'm in
Sorry.
a long waiting queue, you think I'm waiting half an hour to be the next person for you to drop? No, bruv. No, I don't care.
Alright, let me rephrase that.
If it's like there's two, it's like I don't know. There's like me and the next person's already. I'm gonna be next anyway, and you got that one thing. I don't mind because
He does mind.
the minute extra is not too bad. But if I waited in the queue,
Yes.
down
Exactly.
aisle
Yes,
17,
Tongo. Yes, Tongo.
no, bro.
Yes. Do you know the Christmas queue? You know the queue is wham. People have got 2 trolleys trying to snake the trolleys through, and then you're gonna turn around and say, "I've only got this one thing that I forgot."
I'll tell you,
How is this my business?
I'll tell you,
No, thank you.
I'll tell you the queuing system thing that I don't like though is when somebody has let somebody.
You know people that are slow in the ticket office.
That's right.
When you get Wiley's people slow up with the oyster, you know they don't know how to up. I tell you what, sorry Wiley, sorry to cut you, but this one kills me. Do you know when there's no one at Wiley's station, and then the dude isn't behind the thing, he's standing in the ticket hall.
Yeah.
Not in the office, he's in the hall.
Yeah.
Right? And there's 2 Oyster card machine things. You can see on the timer, your train is going to be here in 3 minutes. Right? You know it's a 1 minute run to the platform. Like I live in Hoxton, there's bare stairs and take a lift and do all madness, right? So at this moment, the person would walk up in front of you, and then it says tap your card. They tap their card, it's got -3 Now they're trying to put on £3 on the thing to use the card, and I'm like, no. You can't put £3 if it's -3. You have to go £3 plus the fare.
Yeah. Yep.
And then they're like, can I get some help, please? In my head, right? Get out my way. Do you know? That another big no. That's another no. That's Wiley's people. And then Wiley's now standing there, helping them. Say, tap here. Do you have a debit card or a credit card that you can just tap? If you tap it here and pay contactless, you can listen. Teach her all of that.
Over there.
Once I've gone through. As soon as I've gone through, you can do whatever you like. Now. The next train to Crystal Palace is in 18 minutes.
You know the worst thing? Sorry, buddy. The thing with my no, though, on the flip side of that, you see when you're the guy who is trying to rush the person in front of you, I'm taking even longer. And that's my no. My no becomes, you know what? I'm
Backside.
I'm now going slower. Don't
when
rush
I'm
me.
packing my bags,
I'm now
bruv.
going slower.
Backside.
I'm gonna help
Don't
old
rush me when I'm
auntie
packing my
on the
bags.
machine.
I'm with you on that
So
one.
now I'm not. Now my no becomes your no to me and become my no to you. And the one who's suffering is you, because you that 3 minute run up the stairs, you ain't making that without train right now.
Wow. Tenfolds. All I can
What was that, Tongo?
I'm talking about, you know, when you're at the count, the till.
And cashier.
packing your bag
And you
now.
know when you get the accidental experience cashier, and she's just flinging your things down the thing. It's not even going the speed of the conveyor belt. It's going faster than the conveyor belt. So it's all rolling like the beams are all winging its way down, crashing at the end. Into the bread, doing all madness. Okay.
You know when you're now there and you're packing your bag and you're trying to pack it neatly so that things, you know, you put the detergents with the detergents, you put the food stuff with the food stuff, you put the fresh stuff, the cold. And then man trying to rush. Don't rush me, bro. Because when you're at the till packing your bag, you don't want me to rush you.
I can't lie. I'm semi with you on that. I want.
rush me,
Do you know
bro.
why? Because when I walk into the yard, this bag is going to go into the bathroom because everything in this bag belongs in the bathroom. Do you know what I mean?
Don't rush
You're
me,
gonna put your tomatoes in with the bleach. What's that all about? I don't get it.
Bro, don't rush me, bro.
Your detergent and cornflakes. It don't make no sense.
So you lot are all just saying, no, this person can't push in. This is how you. The funniest thing is, I've listened to all of this from all of you lot, right?
And you called BS quite early.
Early, bro. Citrus is lying. Do you know why? No. I love
Is that you saying no or is that no?
No, you know why? He's actually not that much of a bastard. He can say whatever he likes.
So he's a bit of a bastard.
No, he is a bit of a bastard. But the truth of the matter is, I've seen him be nice to people when we've been out shopping. And I've seen him turn and say, oh, no, you go through first. Rah, rah, rah. Tongo wasn't lying. At first I thought, wait, Tongo's lying as well. And I realized myself, no, Tongo's a bastard. Tongo will sit there, see the old lady sit there struggling and turn and go, you still gotta wait though, because I got all my things. But I've got one thing, please, Mr. Tongo. And he's like, no. I'm first. You was behind me. You wait. And I've seen him do that. He wouldn't do that.
All right, cool. So, did you hear what he said? Do you know the good thing is, as soon as you try and line me up,
Go on.
get all your facts straight.
Go on.
You said, I would say to someone, would you like to go in front of me? Of course I would. Because it's still my choice. If you've now come and said to me, I'm going to go in front of you because I've only got 1 or 2 items, no, you're not.
No.
No, you're not. Because that's what he said.
No, I agree with that. But Shane, you pulled out your mic. but this is the truth. He wouldn't do that. He wouldn't, because it's his choice. He wouldn't do that. And I'm the same. If you're asking me, then fine. I'm in power. I can turn and say to you, you know what? Fact. You can go in front. Yeah, you're in.
So what else is a no then?
But if you're gonna sit there and tell me you're going in front of me, that's not happening. Like I said, he would definitely let them in front. He wouldn't. In both circumstances, Tongo ain't letting them through. I'm telling you that for a fact. That's just the way.
All right, so I got something else. Big shout goes out to a man like Alex. I said I ain't gonna say your name, but Rags. So my brother Alex, right, is in the music industry, and he went to music. What's that sound?
I don't know.
You know when Alex is hunting me, just I can hear some high pitch. I think it's something to do with your team.
Yeah,
I think it's that phone.
Yeah, go on. You were saying.
Yeah, so Alex was at a industry event, a music industry event. When he showed me the video,
The video, yeah. Go on.
I don't know. It might be my
Push your
Yeah, you're trying to.
It's not my thing. I'm blessed.
No, I know what it is.
So Alex was at a music industry event, and he's sitting down, and in the background you got, how can I explain it? You know, the upper echelons of the music industry. So in the video, it's Sunita just bopping past, walking past, and he's sitting at this table, and there's other people around the table, and rare. Alex is 38, somewhere around there. A woman aged between 58 and 65
Yeah.
was standing behind him, and sorry, there's a performance going on. He's sitting at a table and there's a performance going on. The woman is standing behind him and she's talking in his ear, and he's trying to do the polite listening thing. In the video, you see the woman kiss or lick his ear.
Gee.
And he does the whole cringe kind of, hey. And he's trying to do the slow but calm shrug off. Like I'm not comfortable with this. Do you know what I mean? And he's doing it. But in the video, the person who's recording is laughing because obviously he's uncomfortable, and the woman's got both of her hands basically not around his neck but around his shoulders while she's talking into his ear. And I thought to myself, he sent it to me because he knew I told him about today's topic. And he goes, when no really means no. And he said, the crazy thing is, if the role was reversed, there would have been uproar.
Of course.
But as it was him and her, people just was like, okay, and watching the rest of the performance. But he said after the video, he actually switches. And then people are like, you shouldn't be speaking to someone like that, blah, blah, blah. Like, he is the person in the wrong.
Sounds like a Karen.
And I'm just like, boy, but the thing is, she weren't the person defending herself. Other people were defending his language towards her for making him now having to act and react this way due to her not taking the polite hint, if you get what I mean. And I was like, this harassment thing, that's definitely a no means no, innit?
It's a violation. It's a violation because I think I've seen the same video too, and it's a very true point because
I need to see this video.
No, for those that are logged in, logged on. Don't forget we have an eMpTy podcast WhatsApp group.
He posted it in the WhatsApp.
It's in the WhatsApp group. But what's interesting about it, and it's a very true point and a key point he makes, which is that he was saying no, the no wasn't being heard. But if it was flipped around, like you said, if it was a woman saying no, that no would have been heard loud and clear.
It would have echoed. You know when the lights would have gone on, innit?
No, but it's not on a serious level. It would have echoed in the sense of the first time people are seeing uncomfortability in the woman, the echo would be everyone is now getting involved.
The reverberation, innit?
Yeah. I don't know if you remember there was a video. Sorry, I don't know if you remember there was a video that I posted in another group about a woman in the airport that was in the man's face. Then the man has now reacted. And my point is that he was saying no in the same circumstance. He's saying no to her being violent.
I was going to bring that up.
But when he now reacted to her actually physically hitting him in the face and being violent, everyone now jumped involved in that. So again, that no, the initial no,
the double standard, yeah,
the double standards of the no.
And that was a question I was going to put out to you guys just now. Is does a man's no, is a man's no different from a woman's no? So a man says no, and it's just like, he said no, but a woman says no, and it's like you just said, it's like, rah, she said no, brother, back up. She said no, innit? Because her no is more powerful than our no to say no, it's not happening. Depending upon the circumstances, I think it's a given. I think that's just how society is. It's just the way society is. It's not. There's no given reason as to why that is the case. There's no given reason. So you think a woman's more powerful then?
I think a woman's in certain circumstances. In certain circumstances, a woman's no is more powerful than a man's no.
You agree, Citrus? And what about you?
It's not even a debate.
Not even a question.
So wait, you say that, but then like Wiley tried to allude to just now, in certain circumstances, because obviously if a man turns and says, I ain't doing this, or no, this ain't happening, my foot's gone down, type of thing, then isn't that now more powerful than a woman? Like, so for example, your dad turns and says, no, you ain't going outside, compared to your mum saying, no, you ain't going. Which one's more powerful? Would it not be the man's one, or would it be the woman's one, type of thing? This is what I'm trying to relate it to, I suppose.
So there's no relation there.
You're saying there's no relations in that.
No.
You're just saying
that's about respect, and if you don't respect your mum or your dad for telling you not going out, it's peak for you, bro.
Yeah, but I can give you.
Personal. I never said that, bro.
I can give you an idea though. So if you look at it as if you let's say you're a guy like me who hates DIY.
Okay.
And you hate DIY with a passion. Your no may be worked upon by your partner. Your partner may now work you in such a way that and you just get it done. I don't think a man has the same power to be able to do that to a woman. So I think a man's no No, it's not as strong as a woman's. No, in the sense of that, in that environment, I'm not even talking about.
No, it's a good environment.
Society,
No, it's a good environment.
But in that environment, even you're talking about in a relationship environment.
So you're talking at home. I can't just turn and say, no,
not
I ain't doing
necessarily.
this.
Like your partner may work you or work on you in such a way that you be like, you know what? Okay, you know what? I'll do it. But a man hasn't got the same persuasive powers to do something like that more with a woman and I'm not talking about in terms of sexual, I'm talking in terms of things where a woman may not want to do something like, let's say, I don't know, go watch football or go and
lose the battle, win the war.
I think men are more likely to lose the battle to win the war than a woman is.
Definitely.
That's what I think. In terms of the no.
Nah, I don't think you're giving women enough credit on that one, bro. I'll be honest with you. I feel to myself, women will take a knee a lot more times than you think. And then, they will.
In what circumstance?
In any, I mean, one that you just used, which was a perfect example, was probably sports and football and stuff like that. Like they'll probably take it and say, you know what, it's all right, babe. You can have the boys round, watch the football, do this. I'll come and clean up. I'll do whatever I have to do. That's cool. But she. I mean, I'm not saying that she's calculating this in her head, but some women may be calculating and says, watch when I hit my thing that I want to do. Whatever it might be. Maybe. I mean, not everybody sits there and does favour for favour because not every person is built like that. True. You know what I mean? Maybe it'd just be a case of turning and saying, you know what, my man wants to enjoy his sports, let him enjoy his sports. The end. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to get in the way of that.
I can't be in no manipulative relationship, now. That's
that's what you're saying. I just said to you, not everybody is built like that. You know what I mean?
That makes sense.
It's not something that I see to myself that...
I want to do something. I don't want to convince you. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to... Do you know what I mean? I ironed your thongs, babe. Can I go and play out with the boys? I'll be back before the street lights come on. Get out of here, bro.
Bro, you say that, though. No. Citrus. And the funniest thing is, you say that, and you're telling me like you don't know man them that are in that type of situation.
Thongs.
I don't know if they're ironing thongs. I ain't telling nobody's tales. But I'm saying to you, I'm saying to you from now, there's man them out there that I know are just a bit like, you know what? I need to adhere to whatever the woman is saying to me. You know what I mean? If she's saying that, then I need to make sure I please her before I go out. It doesn't mean sexual favours like some people might be thinking. It might be a case of I need to iron her thongs. I need to make sure the house is tidy. I need to make sure that I've got enough favours banked to turn and say, you know what? I'm going to that rave this weekend. Yeah, because I want to go. And me feel, and that person, feeling more like, oh yeah, I'm the man. I got out.
So you would more think that a woman, in terms, if you're saying that in percentages, there's more percentage of women who will win the war, do the battle to win the war than there are men.
Women are way more. And I'm not trying to get girl favours if that's what you're not thinking about.
Don't lie.
Women are way more intelligent than you give them.
No. That's not. No. To be clear,
I never said. No one said women are not intelligent, bro.
Yeah. To be
clear,
don't try and bring that here. To be clear, this is not talking about intelligence of women.
No, but I'm saying to you, that when you're saying to you, oh yeah, they will lose the battle, vice versa. I'm saying to you, I feel to myself, they do that a lot of times, tend to say, you know what, we'll lose this battle, we'll lose this battle, but you know what, at the end of the day, they will get the ring, for example.
You know, it sounds like you've been around a lot of manipulative people, bruv.
No, that's got nothing.
It does sound like that, innit? Because at the end of the day, it's got a lot to do with it, because you've just said, they're going to do this, they're going to do this, they're going to do that to get that. And I'm like,
as much to the question,
as much as I hear what you're saying, it's not the first time you've mentioned it. And for me, there has to be a part before I have to try and one-up you to get something that I want, or something that I need to do, or something that I want to do, or something that I'm actually doing. I don't think it always has to be...
tit for tat thing.
Yes, it's mad. Do you know what I mean? Even if you're 10 tits to one tat, yeah. But even if... Do you know what I mean? I don't... And the reason why is I'm the kind of person that's not going to remember where I am in the hierarchy of the tit for tats. I'm not going to say last time you did this, so I'm doing that.
It's 10-9.
Yeah, 10-9. It's 10-all. Next point wins. Wait, what the? I'm not. Bruv, advantage. And then you mess up deuce. Not me, bruv. My brain ain't gonna give me that kind of space. If I'm doing something, I'm doing it because I want to do it. Don't get me wrong. I might do something special to say, do you know what? I'm going out tomorrow. I've done this so you don't have to. Oh, that was considerate or nice or sweet. But I'm not doing that to bank me going out tomorrow because I'm still going out tomorrow.
The ball was in.
You know what I mean? So you're standing up there, your bedroom's got VAR. Like, your bedroom's standing there with VAR, trying to work out. Get out of here, bruv. No.
I'm sorry. I have to jump you on this one. You're going on like there are situations that you know to yourself. Again, I'm not exposing anyone, all right? But I'm saying to you that there's situations that you haven't been in with other man them that you say to yourself, right, that happened with that man them there.
I'm not saying that it doesn't happen.
Right.
That's not what I'm saying.
That's my point.
But what I'm saying is you've brought it up more than once where it's you're going to do this, watch when I do that. And I'm thinking the level of negative energy, even in the thought process, I can't be around it. It will hurt because eventually you're going to need that person to just step up because they want to step up, not because it's the tit for tat and it's now it's your goal. Do you get what I mean? No, just deal with whatever needs to be dealt with because this is what's being presented and this is the issue we're at, or the situation that we're at, or the circumstance that we're at. That's it. Anyway, I think this has gone slightly off kilter. I've got another shot put.
No, I've got something else as well because I mean I suppose we've spoken about relationships. We've gone on to even so a little bit of our friendships and that, and there are more that you could go into with friendships, especially friendships. But there's even one where you say to yourself, "Is it okay to say no?" What if your child says no to you? Is it okay? Is it okay to say no? Your child says no to you.
My child saying no to me.
Why not?
There will come a point where your child will say no to you because even though they're your child, they're going to become an adult of themselves. And you're always going to be the parent. And there's going to come a point where they're going to make decisions that you're not going to be happy with, but they are saying no to your choice.
Okay, is it okay?
It's okay because they have to grow into who they grow into. As a child, as a actual child, I would say they can't say no to their parents. 9 times out of 10 they can't say no to their parents because it's more about the respect and the upbringing. But you're going to get to a point where they will make their own decisions. And is that saying no to you or is that growing into life?
Right, like I said, child. So I'll move the question quickly to Tongo. So go on.
If you're talking actual child, as in he or she is
below the age of 16.
16.
Okay, below the age of 16.
There's no way they can say no to me about anything.
About anything?
Are you mad?
Okay.
If I've said something to you or requested something from you or told you to do something, you can't tell me no as my child.
Citrus.
I hear what you're saying, Tongo, but I disagree.
Only
because, as what Wiley said, I prefer a personality to be developed. And if you believe in something, and the thing is, once again, if it's a no, full stop, end of chapter, do you know what I mean? Credits. That can't run.
That's my point. That's what
However, if it's a no with a rationalization behind a no, then obviously I'm more than happy to listen to your point. If it needs to be done, it needs to be done. But I still want you to get into a position where you can debate your point
your own character.
without being able to feel like, well, because this is what's been said and this is what's been said. The other side of the coin is hearing a no when it's a non-compromised
situation
request.
Yep.
And I have to put that noise out there loud to turn and say to myself, you know what? Imagining my child turning and say to me, I'm not doing it. No. Oh yeah, turn off the light. No. I'm going to, no. Not going to my bed. What? Are you know what I mean? It's one of those, but like Citrus said, bringing up a sensible answer or to my request.
That's exactly it.
But you've turned and said no, just no. Just
no,
that's
I said if they're telling me no as my child, I never said. I was talking about where Dean said the flat end of credit, etc. No, I was said we were talking about is it okay to say no, not is it okay to come up with a good argument or a good debate about why you don't want to do something or why you think this shouldn't be done or that shouldn't be done. That's a very different conversation. That's not a no. That's a we're having a debate or you're giving me your opinion or vice versa. That is not no. A child cannot say to me no. Are you mad? Listen to what you're saying. Even I can see you having palpitations. I'm at the core of it, bro. Your chest is going enough high next to me Just thinking about your child saying that to you.
Nah, my son ain't saying no to
Listen,
me.
You understand?
you're saying that, yeah. I believe that you experience situations where your child is going to say no to you, and what's going to happen is, and it's not necessarily going to be like when they're all 7, 8, 9 or whatever. It's when they're all 14, 15, 13, because they, as I said, they're growing into themselves.
I like the way you count.
I weren't counting. I was giving numbers out.
I know.
I weren't counting in order. My point of the matter is that my point of the matter. Before we throw off the point, my point of the matter is
Sorry.
with regards to those sort of ages, when you're talking about single digit ages.
Like, this is recorded. When you're talking about single numbers, wait.
When you're talking about
numbers, bro.
when you're talking about, so listen, when
You messed me up, bro. It's
no problem. When you're talking about single digit ages, it's a very different environment of dealing with children than when you're talking about them being in teenage years, because it's a different thing that happens there. They're growing into themselves, and yes, they're still your child. And they are still a child now. They ain't got no rights. They can't say, oh, I can go and vote. I can do anything as over 16 they can do. But what you're going to find is they're growing into themselves. And it's the decisions you think you can make for them, they will now start to have more of an input in. When they start having that input and thinking what they're doing, you've then got to then be able to try and have the conversation and say, is my no going to be able to direct? Is my no going to be something that is going to actually be a firm no? For the smaller child age, yeah, but when they get to like teenage years, it's a different conversation, and that's under the age of like 16. So,
and to be honest with you, it comes down to the type of respect and everything that you've built them with from when you were younger, innit? So, or when they was younger, sorry. And you would turn and tell them to respect you in a certain way, so they would understand. Like, I know certain people up till now, they probably wouldn't tell their dad no. Do you know what I mean? They would find it hard to turn and say, let me tell my dad no. Like, I probably even, myself, I'd even use myself as an example. I don't mind, all right? And say, it wasn't until a certain age I'd turn and say to myself, my dad might have called me now and say, yeah, Lee, I beg you go and, I beg you go and drop a barrel for me right now. Dad, it's 9:20 at night. I can't. I beg you do it now. All right, can I do it in the morning, please? Like, you know, I'm now trying to negotiate with him, but I want you to do it now. Please, can I do it in the morning, please, Dad? I'm not going to tell you no.
Sometimes they say yes, even when you don't want to say no.
If he turns and says to me, it's an emergency, all right, Dad, I'm on my way. I'm going to go and do it now. And you know what I mean? And it wasn't until I got to the point where I said to myself, well, you know what? I'm doing something. Right now, I'm sitting in a podcast. So the answer is
later. Don't lie. The answers don't know.
probably later on, Dad. I just got to finish this first. I'll try and tell them to round it up quickly. I'll tell them no. I'll say no, I'm not doing it. I don't want to do it. And it's taken years for me to get to that point to turn and say, you know what? I'm able or comfortable enough to turn and say, no, Dad, I ain't doing it. No, Mum, I ain't doing it. You know why? Because I don't want to. And I'll probably use my dad, but even with my mum, and my mum probably more so, because my mum is my mum. And it's like, I'm going to say no to my mum. And even when I actually say no to my mum, I probably sit there and I go, I think I'm going to go and do this favour for my mum.
I'm going to get beat.
and I say no to her, but I'm hoping the no will be like, she's going to sort it out. And then I can tell her, say, Mum, did you sort it out? Yes, all right, cool, I don't have to do it. Thank God. But it's still it's hard to say no to your parents, you know what I mean? And I'm whatever age I am now, and I'm like, look, you know what? Look how old I am, and I'm still sitting there saying I battle with that. As a child, I don't expect, and I'm thinking to myself now, my son saying to me, no, Dad, I ain't doing that. I will, the way things are just went through my head now. I won't feed you, I'll kick you down the stairs, I'll beat you up. I don't know what else I'm going to do to you, but you ain't saying no to me. You know what I mean? But like Citra said very earlier on, was like, I like to build character. So I would hope to myself that, you know, if you are going to say no to me, that's fine. What's your reasons? Why? And if you've got something sensible that you've got to put forward, it builds character. You know what I mean? Shutting down your children and saying, you know, you have no option other than to say yes to me because I am the superior authority isn't right. You know what I mean? We have that problem within the police authority, for example, where, bless you, true word.
Bless you, bro.
That's the West Indian way of it. But it's called true word. You look to me all funny. That's what we say. But anyway, like you got to look at the police and that, and we have no other. Well, we feel like we have no other position but other to say yes to the police. If they turn and say to you, license and registration, let me go and get that for you. If they say get out of your car, let me go and get out of my car. If they turn and say to you, get on your knees, put your hands, you have to do it because you have to follow the law accordingly. You know what I mean? And a lot of people don't look up what the law means and how what stands for the law, what they are allowed to do and what they're not allowed to do. A lot of us don't do that, including myself, because I'm not exempt from this rule myself. All right, but there are people that do look it up, and they'll say, "Well, you're not allowed to do that. So what you're allowed to do is this."
So, would you debate with your 7-year-old son? This what you just said, all you said about you'd have that conversation and whatever. Would you debate with your 7-year-old son? Or is it a straight no?
Now, the funniest thing is about that question is I'd like to turn and say yes, I would. The truth of the answer is I'd probably be very ignorant to it and say no.
Would you debate with a teenage son who's just under the age of 16?
Again, the same answer will transfer because it would be like, I would like to say yes,
but
because
you think you're likely to say no.
I had a conversation with one of my friends about a situation about a teenager recently, and we had the conversation. And I said to him, the best way to deal with things is to talk to the teenager, talk to them. It's all about conversation. I also said on the same side of the argument, I said I would probably not talk to the person. And it's the reason why I've turned and said to myself, I've got the godparents I've got for my child, and I turn and say, I would give them the call and I say, listen, I'm about to beat the living out of my child. Wow. All right, I beg you come and talk to me or talk to him, but someone's getting a beat down. I know that for a fact. But in that same light and that same respect, I actually turned and said to myself, you know what? The actual solution to the problem, which I already know in my calm state because it's not my child, I can turn and say, my solution to that problem is to turn and say, you know what? It's actually a conversation. It's not just to turn and say, no, you're not allowed to do this, and no, you're not allowed to do that. It's a case of, we have to have a conversation, and conversation is very key to any relationship you build with your child. You know what I mean? And even with and I suppose this is the narrative of the whole thing, which I would obviously say in my summary, but it's about having a conversation. You know what I mean? You have to have a conversation with these people. It's about sorting out your conversation with your partner, with your parents, with your child. You know what I mean? You have to have this conversation. If you don't have this conversation, then all of a sudden you're just saying no, and they'll have to learn the actual reasons why you've said no from somewhere else. You know what I mean? And you don't want them to learn the reasons why somewhere else. You know, you want them to learn it from you because you're the parent, you're the partner. You know what I mean? Because if you're sitting there, like I said earlier on, we're being a bit crass earlier on, but if you're going to say, you know what I mean? You're going to turn and say, I'm saying, no, I don't want you to do that because that's not something that I want to do. And they turn and say to you, well, that's what I like. You know what I mean? You need to explain or give them a reason to turn and say, you know what, this is the reasons why I don't like it, or I'm not down for it, or this is my thing. You know what I mean? Same thing with your child. Same thing with your parent when you're dealing with your parents, or you're dealing as a parent to the child. That's my personal view. But I'll let you right now, right?
What about your boss? Would you say no to your boss?
Ooh. I ain't got a boss, so no. But if I know, you're right. That's actually a very, very, very good point. Would you say no to your boss? The answer to that, I haven't been in that position for a while. I'd like to say yes, but again, you're right. Probably not. You know what I mean? Not if you want to keep your job. Very good question.
You're not going to ask me that question because you know the answer to that question already.
You're going to go to the union.
Of course, I am the union. I'm going to say no. Come on now. If I think it's a no, it's a no. That's just what it is. No, definitely not. I don't believe in people because someone's a boss of you or your manager that they have a position of power. They're a human being like anyone else. And if something is a no for you, for whatever reason, then it's a no. And you just have to be able to convey whatever the no is for the right reasons in the right way. If it's different to say no, I ain't doing that, for being ignorant with it. If something is a no, and it's not in your role or whatever to do, it's a no.
But what if it is in your role or reasonable to do?
And if I believe it's unreasonable, I will convey my reason why I don't believe it's a reasonable thing to do. And I will still say no. Still say no.
The self-interest?
I would say no. There's certain things, and to be fair, there was a time I was doing whatever the company asked me to do. I didn't really mind, within reason, obviously. Oh, can you work on your day off? Okay. Do you know what I mean? I'll have my birthday on another day. You know what I'm saying?
Happy number.
It's okay, it's fine. But there were certain things that I definitely had a lot more, I suppose, giving. As I've grown older, I've got a lot harder, a lot more sterner in myself, my self-belief, and my understanding of myself and who I am. So therefore, as Wiley says, I would more than happily go way beyond the task at hand. And for me, it's not necessarily a boss, but it'd be a client or one of my customers. And they'll ask me to do certain things. And in my head, I'm like, I don't want to do that. However, I can see why you're asking me to do it, and I might just do it. The other side, I'll be like, no, I don't do that. Sorry, got bubbles.
No is a no.
Yeah, I'll be like, no, thank you.
You see, the funniest thing is, and the position of power is a very good thing. Because like when you turn and said about obviously your boss, I mean, you could turn and say the king, the prime minister, like when they turn and tell you to do something, the police. I mean, everybody likes to turn and say to themselves, you know what? At the end of the day, I'm gonna say no. But honestly, can you say no in those positions, or do you feel?
It's your choice. You're a human being, and you always have a choice to say no. Nobody can hold a gun to your head.
Do you know what, Wiley?
Well, they can hold.
I'm gonna jump you and say, you have to appreciate you come from a professional position of a skilled employee, especially when it comes to employee rights.
And saying no to an employer.
And saying no and still holding your chest high.
Yeah.
You have to understand there are people that will listen to this that's been in their job 15 years that are still being that are still being their positions being abused because they might be an easy target or the soft touch or the quiet one or they don't complain.
No, I agree.
You get what I mean?
But
a round of applause you're probably hearing around.
I agree with you, but you know why I would still put my chest out and say yes, I may have all that knowledge and experience, is to let people know you can say no, because otherwise what happens is you end up being the doormat. And if people don't know, and as you said, people won't know their rights, but it's important to know your rights, because we do have rights. And it's not just about just saying you've been in the job for 15 years. Funny enough, somebody I was representing today, been in the job for 15 years, they've gone through certain things in that job. They didn't know they had the opportunity to say no in certain parts of it. But because they didn't know, because they were so,
just did
as
it.
you said,
they
were doing it. But the knowledge is there. And it's just about, if the knowledge is there, impart that knowledge to people to know their rights.
But you also
not every organisation has a union as strong as you guys have.
Alternatively, the organisation will have it in the handbook on page 218. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Hidden away in
in the small T's and C's to say you have every right to
complain,
do you know what I mean? To do what's reasonable within your contract. Do you know what I mean? And they will use words like reasonable, which is down to debate, and it's not an affirmed number. It's not definitive. And because, sorry, can I finish? Or are we just gonna let me talk and then you can just harmonise with my shit? Do you know what I mean? So once again, is if not everyone is aware of that, and some people are like, you know what? If I lose this job, I don't know how to get another one. I'm so long in the tooth in this industry. Alternatively, it's taking me so long to get this job. Now I've got it. My boss has asked me to do something. I don't want to pee my boss off, and then the boss turns around and says, "You never passed probation." What? Or you've now been overlooked for the promotion, or the training course, or do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So then therefore, or even so you just put it to my mind, Tongo. But even those that I'm agency staff.
Yes.
I can't even say no, because they're just going to phone the agency and say, you know what, his position's gone, send someone else. And there'll be someone sitting in this chair tomorrow. So I now know that I'm in that position where I could be used and abused however they feel or however they don't feel. Do you know what I mean? They like me because I'm me. And if I start saying no to things, they're not going to like me anymore. So can I say no? So, sorry, I know I've covered a lot, but
no, that's fine.
You get what I mean?
So the comeback to that for me quickly is, so is your worth or integrity not worth a no? So you would give you'd part your worth or your self-worth or whatever to the side because you don't want to risk it.
16 podcasts ago, you said that if it came down to feeding your family, you would have to check and reflect on your worth.
16 or 17?
16 or 17.
And I've also said though, my integrity
16, 17 or 13. Bruh.
Indeed. But I've also said my integrity. But I can tell you my integrity would not bend.
No,
That
but
would
you
not do.
say
Would not
that.
bend.
But Wiley, this is the most important thing, because I see someone on the live just trying to say, Miss Kitty, to you. She said, I know my worth. And it's a theme that a lot of us, and especially, and I don't want to make it a black or white thing, but you know what I mean? Black people tend to say, I know my worth. I know what I'm worth. I know who I am. But you know what the funniest thing is? How you turn and run up your mouth too much and see how fast it happens where you can't feed your children no more because you now no longer have a job. You know what I mean? So there's certain things. I mean, like I said, I meet myself personally. I've come out of the whole I don't work for them. I work for myself. But if I was in a situation back then, like I said, working for someone, as much as I knew my worth and I knew what I had to say, I also said to myself, there's only so much I can do or say. You know what I mean? I'm not in that position yet. I haven't got to the position that I am in now to be able to turn and say, you know what, I can turn and say to you, look, do whatever you want with your job. See you later. Like, I don't care. You know what I mean? There's enough times that I probably wanted to say that, and enough times a lot of people on the live will probably sit there and say, you know what, I wanted to say that, all right? But you know what, at the end of the day, I still need to feed my son, and I still need to make sure that I've got money in my pocket, and I still need to pay my bills. So if I can't do that, all right, there's only so much I'm going to say. And like Citrus said very earlier on, you might know your rights, Wiley. And this is the one thing that I suppose a lot of people don't sit there and think about. Yeah, your knowledge is what your knowledge is. My knowledge about running a business, for example, is my knowledge. You know what I mean? I'm sitting there going, it's easy. Why can't you lot all do it? Like, it's very simple. You lot are stupid. You know what I mean? Like, you're sitting there saying, that's not what I'm saying. Sorry, I apologise. Yeah. All right? But you know your rights. So you're like, guys, you don't know your rights. Come on, just talk to me.
That's not what I'm saying.
Shout.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
No, I'm not saying that's what you're saying, but I'm saying to you, at the end of the day, it's a situation where a lot of people, like Citrus said, doesn't know their rights. You know what I mean? I don't know my rights to that extent to turn and say, you know what, buddy, you know when you turned up late that time and they turned and said you was 1 minute late and you got the recording that you was 1 minute late, they cannot take you to a tribunal for 1 minute late. Huh? But they did. Yeah, and then what? Yeah, they put me on my last warning. Yeah, they shouldn't have put you on your last warning. You was 60 seconds, and 60 seconds according to their clock, but not according to. I was like, right, I didn't know that. I just went to the meeting. They turned and said to me basically that I had to be on my last warning. I was now mad because I was looking at it like, you can see on the clock I'm 1 minute late.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I don't know my rules. You know what I mean? I didn't know that. So I just went to it. They put me on my final warning. I then turned and got pissed off. I then said to myself, I'm leaving because I'm not on this. I'm not on being treated like an idiot. And I left. And now I then defaulted on my whatever bill. I'm now run up on this bill. People, I mean, people have their own bills that they have to deal with after that. I
hear all of that. I'm gonna, because I don't want to lean back over it. But my point in the matter is this: I'm not saying to people that be like me. What I'm saying is I have knowledge. I try and impart knowledge onto people so that when they encounter that situation again, they know how to handle themselves. And yes, you could be in a job 15, 20 years and your boss could say, you know what, go outside and pick up the dog muck off the road and you think that's your job to do. My point in the matter is, you have to have a level of worth of yourself that you will question things. I'm not saying, and yes, you're right, people may feel like, I want to quit the job. But the issue is not about quitting the job, the issue is about saying no. And if you're able to understand or be able to open up and take on board, you can say no. The issue is not about saying no. The issue is about how you say no and what then happens from you saying no. And as long as you're able to take that information in, and I can impart that knowledge onto you, what you do with it is your choice. But at least you know, and then you know your rights, and your rights are your worth.
100% right. But you know what? Let me give you a quick example, very quick. All right. So I was working in a phone shop at the time. All right. And
who else for the show?
Sorry?
Who else for the show? What character's buddy?
Anyway, I was working at a phone shop, right? And I trained. The funniest thing is I trained this guy. Funny enough, right? And I started working part time in the phone shop. And he turned and said to me, like we're sitting there now. There's no customers in the store. It's gone quiet. We've dealt with whatever we're dealing with. Me and my boy and I just sitting there, just having a little chin wag, and we're just like, yeah, cool. He then comes out like, because he's now promoted himself to assistant manager. Like I said, I'm working part time now, so I'm like, all right, cool. He comes out and he goes, yeah, the toilets need cleaning. I'm like, okay, I don't know who you're talking to, but cool. I'm sitting there, we're just chatting. He comes back out and he says, "Rah, the toilets ain't cleaned. You lot are just sitting there doing nothing. You lot need to clean the toilet." Now I was livid. Because I said to myself, when I was assistant manager, I never gave you that to do. And I taught you, when I was training you, I said to all of my people that I trained, and I trained loads of staff, I said to them, listen, don't ever give people stuff that you yourself wouldn't do. So if you're sitting there saying you're going to go and clean the toilet, then fine, go and clean it. But I don't give my staff that type of duty, especially if they feel uncomfortable doing it. I wouldn't do it to them, and I never did it to you when I was training you, and I wouldn't do it to anybody else. He decided to himself to try and pick on me, worst thing. So they say, yeah, there, go clean the toilet. I said, yeah, that toilet gonna get clean. You do it. Like, because I ain't doing it. You know what I mean? So big debate. Now, I was in a position at the time where I didn't care about the job, hence the reason I was working part-time. I didn't care. So if I left it, I was already in a position where I was saying, I don't even know if I'm coming into work tomorrow. It depends if I feel like it or I don't feel like it. All right? So I was in that comfortable position. Now, if I wasn't in that comfortable position, and that was my life, I'd be sitting there saying to myself, I have to go and clean them toilets. Why? Because he told me to do it. He's my senior, and I'm now turning and telling him, no, I ain't doing it. You know what I mean? And then what does he do now? He just says, no problem, you're not doing it. You're disobeying me. Now I see your face going, it wasn't, when I look back at it now as at the age I am now compared to the age I was then, that wasn't that's not a role that I can sit there and say to myself, that's not one of my roles. So no matter what you say, I am not doing it, and I can honestly say to myself, I'm not doing it. Now, the funniest thing is, not everybody knows that. Did you do it? Of course I never did it. Me. Like, did I stay there that long? Like,
so you said no in the end?
I said no, but that's because it's me. But I said no, but
because you know your worth.
No, that's because I was being stubborn. I ain't doing it.
So you would have done it. So you would have done it if you weren't being stubborn then?
No, I would have done it if I was in a position that I needed the job. If I needed the job,
if you needed a job, you would have done what you didn't want.
I would have had to do it. If that was the beginning of when I actually first got the job, and my boss when I first got there turned and said to me, "Oh yeah, go and do it." It's only because I was assistant manager before that I kind of said to myself, "1 second, you can't be telling me to clean the toilet. I've never done that in all the years that I was there, and now that I'm part time and you're now manager of this store, you're gonna try and tell me to." That was my argument at the time.
Yeah, my personal take on it, and I don't want to let it just keep going on around work. My personal take on it is your self-worth is your rights. That's the bottom line for it. Your self-worth is your rights. If you are able to say no, then you can say no. And we all have a choice. It's a choice whether you want to say yes or no. It's a choice if you want to be saying, you know what, I'm going to do what the boss says because that's the boss. What if the boss says to you tomorrow, oh, you know what, there's dog muck outside, go and pick it up. Or the toilets are blocked, I need you to go and put your hands in it and unblock it. Where does it... No, but listen, I'm saying to you, where do you start, where does the line start and stop? You have to have a level of worth of yourself to say no, otherwise everything is a yes. When does it become a no if you're not going to say no at any point?
But isn't that the same case within every single situation that we use? So we're using work right now, all right? And I'm not going to kind of just throw... I mean, I suppose we do need to move on a little bit, but... that's the same situation within looking after your children, your child to you to your child, you to your partner in any going shopping or whatever, and all the way back to the beginning, you sexually. Like you kind of have to turn and say to yourself, if you're saying no, you're saying no.
Everything is a choice. So you always have a choice of a yes or a no matter what the given circumstance. You have a choice. So, but it's down to you whether you convey your choice or not. And if you're not going to convey your choice, then you're, like I said, you have no worth of yourself. If you can't say no when you feel to say no, when are you going to say no?
Just say I decline.
Nah, I feel you can still sit there and say no. But the funniest thing is, like what you just said, you said you know your worth and that, but it's also about a position and the position that you're in. Because people are neglecting to think or say about circumstance. You know what I mean? And it's all well and good where we are now, and you turn and put yourself in the circumstance that you are in now, especially with work. Like, no one can turn and tell me to go and clean the toilets. If we leave here now and you turn and say, Lee, buddy, go and clean the toilets, I'm going to look at you and turn and say, well, I'm going home now. See you later. Don't talk to me like that. I ain't doing it.
But I'm not the boss. If there was a boss here and you was working for me and you have to go and feed your child and you have no money and whatever, are you now putting yourself in a position when I say put your hand in the toilet and clean it, get rid of the whatever, you're going to do that?
Let me land. Because I was going to say to you, so now if this podcast is feeding me and it's looking after my yard, it's looking after my child and all the rest of it, and I need this podcast for that, and you look turn and say, if you don't turn and clean the toilet, then you might be out of a job tomorrow. then I'm suddenly saying, so where's the gloves, and do I have to go over there? And there is no gloves because at the end of and you're saying that now, Wiley. And
I'm saying that before I was a union rep, I'm saying the same thing,
and that's fine. I understand that. And this is again something that Citrus said earlier on. You're talking from your stance of what you know, and I'm taking it away from you.
One second. Let me correct you. Take away knowledge. Nothing to do with knowledge. My personality is not going to allow me to do something I don't want to do in work. People or in that circumstance.
Right, people, as bad as we want to go on, and anybody on the live will probably sit and go, I ain't doing it. And I'll probably sit there, and even on the live now, I'll sit there and go, I ain't doing it, because I'm a bad man. I ain't doing it. All right? But then the other side of me turning and saying to myself, well, let's be real. Let me put myself in that situation and see how fast things change. Because people always turn to talk. We can talk from the position that we're in now, but don't talk. When you're talking from a position of I haven't got a pot to piss in, and I haven't got no money, and I can't. And this is what basically feeds me. So if I now turn and say, you know what, Citrus, screw your job. I'm leaving. See you later. And I walk out of here, and then it's like, right, you know, tomorrow I got no money to put in my pocket. How are you gonna feed your son? I don't know. How are you gonna look after your yacht? I don't know. And at that point now, I say, all you had to do was get a plunger, plunge that toilet, and then walk away. So my pride, and you lot know I'm prideful, all right? Like, my pride, no, I am. You know my pride. I ain't having it. I mean, I'm not going to have, if you're going to sit there and put me on, I've got too much pride for that. But I've also got to sit there and say, well, I'm going to let my pride win over the fact of I need to basically feed my child. I need to feed myself. I need to get through that. So I'm going to say no on that basis. I'm sorry, I can't sit there and say 100% that that's what everybody's going to do, and that's 100% say that's what I'm going to do. Put in that situation. I'm talking from the situation I'm in now. Of course I am.
But this comes similar to an earlier podcast where there's certain things, depending on your person, your integrity, and your self-worth, and all of that. There's certain things you're just not going to do. It doesn't matter what the circumstances. It doesn't matter what the consequences are. You're just not going to. So a man, there's certain times when a man can be confidently say, whether he's in that position or not, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. It's just how it goes. For example, Wiley mentioned earlier on about sexual activity where another man's involved. He's not going to do it. It doesn't matter what duress he's in. If you know Wiley and his integrity and what he's about, it doesn't matter what duress he's in. It doesn't matter what the consequences are. He will not do it. And that's just it. Like, so you can't always say circumstance brings it.
No, but I'm saying to you,
sometimes it's about the man in the sense of the word, not literally just men or women. As in, it's about the man, and it's about the person's insides, their mindset, do you understand? So there's some things they're just not gonna say. They're not gonna do.
But I'm saying to you, in people's circumstances are different, innit? Everybody's circumstance is different, and yeah, Wiley might be a man that turns and says to us at the end of the day, you know what? He's a man of integrity. He's always said that on every one of our podcasts. He said, I'm a man of integrity. This is the way I stand. This is the way I form. I don't care if I have to eat outside on road on the floor, then that's what I'm going to have to do. But my pride means more. If that's the man that he is, then that's the man that he is. And that's who he's saying. Now, the only thing I would say according to that, Wiley, is that at the end of the day, as much as I do believe you, and I do believe you, all right, I also say to myself, on the other hand of things, you're not in that circumstance. Circumstances make people do different things. There's people out there at the moment that do prostitution, and I'm sure when they was younger, they would turn and say to you, I'd never be a prostitute. I'd never do that. I'd never do that. And circumstances now turn and said to them, you know what? I need to sell my booty to make sure I got money to make sure that I can basically feed my kids. And we laugh, but that's a fact and that's a truth.
I can't lie. I was just laughing at how you said booty.
Bro,
I'll be real, yeah, because I don't want to labour onto that part of it too much. But definitely, there are things that I've experienced in life where things have been on top or peak. They haven't forced me to have to say, you know what, I want to do something I don't want to do. And that's what it comes down to. And everyone just has to have that understanding of themselves. If you don't want to do something, you have got the right to say no. You don't have to be forced in any given circumstance. You don't have to be forced into doing something you don't want to do. Because otherwise you end up, like I said, your worth becomes rock bottom. And then where does it go from there? How do you lift yourself up to say, you know what, I'm willing to value myself enough that, you know what, if this guy says I've got to clean the toilet in order to feed my kids, nah, sorry, you're taking a mickey because you want to do that, so why am I doing that? Regardless of you're the boss and I'm the worker, You're human like I'm a human. Why am I putting myself below that? So certain times a no is a no, and that is just it. And you can't change someone's viewpoint regardless of their circumstance. So that's just, but in the work situation, yeah, I will always impart knowledge to people to say, it's not about rights, it's not about I know so much now. I've had to learn over time that, you know what, people don't know their rights, and it's about knowing that you can say no and there's no consequences. You're allowed to say no to certain things because there are no real life consequences other than what they may try to say or try and coerce you into or try and bully you into, but there's always a comeback to it.
But that's because you've built, and luckily, the person you are, you've built yourself up that way from when you was a child or from whatever moment it was. You've built yourself, or your parents maybe, have built you up to the point where you tend to say, this is what my position is and this is what I have to get to and this is what I'm going to go and do. You know what I mean? Safe every day. But you know what I mean? It's what you've built yourself up to, you get what I'm saying? And that's something that I suppose people have got to build themselves up to. I've built myself up to the position that I'm in. And I could turn and say to myself, if you turn and said to me today, I'll just walk away from it. I don't need to do that. You know what I mean? Citrus has built himself up to the where he's built himself up to. Tongo's built himself up to the where he's built himself up to. But not everybody's built themselves up to the positions that we're in. So I look at around, and even the people on the live, there's loads of them on the live at the moment.
Loads of comments on the live.
And we can turn and say, you know what, a lot of you have probably built yourself up into the positions that you've built yourself up into. And I'm looking at, and I'm saying to myself, what about the people that haven't? You know what I mean? What about the people that haven't got internet right now and are able to be on the live right now and are sitting there saying to themselves, well, you know what? I wasn't in that fortunate position. So yes, I did scrub some toilets, and yeah, I did have to do whatever sexual favors, or yeah, I did have to turn and say yes to my father when he told me to do this, and yes to my mother when she told me to do that. You know what I mean? Because that's the position that they've been put in. That's the cards that they was dealt, and they wasn't educated enough or didn't get educated enough to put themselves in a better position to say that they're able to turn and say no. You know what I mean? And that's the funniest thing. And it's such a trivial. I put this podcast out there to my man them, and I said to them, yo, brothers, let's go with is it okay to say no? And I said to everyone, yo, is this going to be a good thing? Everyone was like, well, what are you going to go and talk about? But no is it goes on into so many different formats and so many different things, and it's trivial to say to myself, you know what, it's a big topic that we can actually use to turn and say, you know what, it covers so many different things. It has covered so many different things. So I suppose in summary, I'll send it over to the Citrus, who's been sitting there twiddling his thumbs for the longest while.
Citrus is gonna say no. You don't want to give a summary. No summary.
Richard, you ain't got trace, bro. You ain't got no trace. Nah, seriously, I'll put it out there to Citrus to do a summary on tonight's podcast. And is it okay to say no? And all of the other topics that's been put out there with regards to the children side of things, with regards to your parenting, with regards to relationships sexually, and also just to go and do chores and stuff around the house and just in a relationship in general. And just saying no to even, like we got to in the end, your boss or someone in power.
My point hasn't changed from the beginning. I said, yeah, you can say no. And as long as you rationalise why you're saying no, regardless of the circumstance, stand by yourself, stand by what you believe in and follow it through. Because at the end of the day, when the lights go out and you're sitting in a room on your own, you're going to have to answer that question to yourself. To why have I done what I've done if I didn't believe in doing it? And that's it. That's the long, middle and short of it. There have definitely been situations where I should have said no, I didn't. And I wouldn't say haunted me, but it's definitely come back and followed me. And I was like, are you an idiot? What were you thinking? Why did you do that? Blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, there are different situations where a no is a no and there's no explanation because it's a no. And there's no and a no, and here's my justification behind the no. And this is not a discussion. You know, I'm just telling you, this is why it's a no. I'm not saying that I'm stubborn enough that it can't be convinced. I can't be convinced that it could be a yes.
Liar.
But no.
Joking.
But I would happily say that, especially if I've dug my heels in, that's it. I'm done. We're good. That's my summary.
Nice one, Citrus. Thank you very much for that. Wiley, boom.
I've said quite a lot, you know. bottom line for me is you always have a choice to say no. It is okay to say no, whether it be in your relationship, whether it be in your workplace, whether it be to your children, whether it be to your parents. There's always an opportunity for you to say no. And I think what people have to have in mind is that if you don't agree with something, you don't have to be forced into having to agree to it. You ain't got to put yourself in a position where you don't feel, like what Citra said, where you can't look at yourself and say, you know what, I'm happy with this decision I've made because it makes me feel like me. Ultimately, everyone's got a choice to say no, and I believe that it is ultimately the title. It's okay to say no. Yeah, it is. It's just sometimes you may want to say yes to ensure you don't have the issues that come with it, but that is still your choice. Ultimately, it's definitely okay to say no.
Tongo, oh, you're not even danger no more. Tongo, you're done now, innit?
You're done now. You see it? All right.
Trying to get a thing
Before I give my summary, I'm just going to scroll through some of the comments in the group chat because you have been lively. Got to shout out a couple of people. Been giving us jokes as we're reading them as they scroll up on our screen. Debbie Deb said, imagine being a grown-ass man and you have a sweeter up just to go out. That one sweet me still. Shady Bubble said, there's no way I'm saying I ain't doing that because I don't want to her parents. Must be mad. Rain _ Bomber Clark Nelson, get it right, man them big up, said, conversation with a child, put them on the same level as you, they see you as an equal. Until a certain age, there is no debate. When the child sees you as equal, that's when you get back chat, kiss teeth, and you get nose. He's not on it. Saul Walker said he doesn't respect, he don't respect positions, but he does respect people. If his boss asked him and it was a no, he'd say no and why. Okay. Rain's back with, you've got to say no, where's your integrity? Of course you can snow to your boss. But he's a HR man, so he's in the same boat as Wiley, to be fair.
I disagree, but anyway.
You disagree with everything.
Not that again.
No. As in, I don't think that it's necessarily because of the backgrounds of where we work or whatever. It's all to do with people have got that choice. But
of course. Miss Kitty to you said, businesses do not care about us. They will replace us in a second. So I have that same mentality. I would never sacrifice my own self-worth and integrity for a job. So Walker said, I think you need to know enough about what something is worth to you or means to you, or to do what is best for you and your circumstances. Someone repeated about the mentality. So there's something that I read about once and I've got to find it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where is it? It was very, I liked what it said. I think there are circumstances where you may have to do what you don't want to do so you can do what you need or want to. Our parents have probably done this in the past.
Yeah. That's a good point. Who said that?
Soul Walker 75.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Yeah, so thanks guys for the interactions in the group. Don't forget to check us out on the podcast, the SoundCloud, should I say? Sorry guys. The eMpTy podcast, of course, and of course join the WhatsApp group. Join the WhatsApp group. The QR code is on our page. Not hard to find. Join the group. And my summary in regards to saying no, I said at the beginning, sometimes you got to say no. And through the podcast today, we've heard of some examples. For example, to mumsy, or to your dad, or sometimes to the missus that you don't want to go shopping, or it might not be a big thing. And I think everyone interpreted that I meant a big thing that it has to be a yes to. But sometimes you just have to have that compromise. And as I said before, you got to lose the battle to win the war.
And is that you?
That's me.
Oh, nice one. Okay, so my summary now. No. Is it okay to say no? No is a powerful word. And it's something where it's probably one of the words that you expect disappointment from when you hear no. no, you can't do this, no, you can't do that, and no seems bad. No's a word that does need to be said sometimes to probably manage expectations. So if you can't do something, you need to turn and say to yourself, you can't do it, because you physically can't. You can't say yes to everything, because it then turns and causes more problems for you in the future. So yeah, it's good to say yes to everything. But when I say yes to everybody, and then all of a sudden now I'm in a situation where I've got Citrus sitting there saying, yeah, he's waiting for me, Wiley's waiting for me, Tongo's waiting for me, Sirelli at the back's waiting for me, freaking Rain Bumbleclart's waiting for me. You know what I mean? And they're like, rah, what happened? Oh, I had to pick up Citrus, and then I had to pick up Wiley, and I had to and the list goes on. Saying no to somebody sometimes, say, you know what, I can't do it, I physically can't do it, is fine. And saying no to somebody to probably protect yourself sometimes is also a good thing. You know what I mean? So no, it's not always a case of saying no, but it also has to be within relationships, within parenthood, within your work life. There has to be a compromise. Compromise is one of the biggest things I think to myself in life. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many times where I want to be stubborn, aka Wiley. I might actually just call it Wiley, all right? And turn and say to myself, you know what, I want to be stubborn enough to turn and say, I'm never going to say no. I don't need to say no to this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do whatever I feel right to do. But at the end of the day, you have to turn and say no to certain things. And sometimes you have to turn and say to yourself, you know what, I have to say yes to certain things. And even if it's things that I don't want to do, or like what's been said on the podcast from others, I might not want to go shopping, but at the end of the day, it makes my partner happy. So yeah, I'll take her to the shopping. Like, it's that simple. You know what I mean? But then on the same side of things, it might not happen all the time. Maybe I might have to turn and say, you know what, this is my president. I need to make you know that I don't like doing it. So at least you know. So now we can go forward from here. I will do it on this occasion. So yeah, no is sometimes okay. And I, unlike Citrus that said earlier on, there doesn't have to be a reason. Sometimes I think it's courteous to give a reason. You know what I mean? I will say that, and that's something I really wanted to say. It's courteous to give a reason, to say, I'm saying no because because of this reason, and this is my personal reason, right or wrong. You know what I mean? Maybe, like what's been said earlier on, I can be convinced otherwise. You know what I mean? And maybe I can't. It depends. You know what I mean? And I feel to myself, that is something that we have to do, whether it be my friend, my partner, my family member, my child. You know what I mean? And that's what I would say in conclusion. Thank you all very, 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 very much for being on the eMpTy podcast today. Yeah, we appreciate you. And what I will say, if the glass ain't half full,
it's empty.
Thank you very much.